All right, everybody, welcome back to Ty Guy, the Sports Guy. I am Ty Guy, that Sports Guy. Please hit the crap out of the like button. Share, like, subscribe, add. Please let everybody know about me. Spread the word. Over my shoulder here, we have the world famous best pitcher of all time, Nolan Ryan. Got a New York Yankees hat, St. Louis Cardinals spring training, St. Patty's Day hat, and also my old jersey. Welcome to Sunday's episode. So we got a great episode here for you. We're going to talk about the MLB news and notes. We're going to talk about the NFL news and notes also too. And we're also going to talk in the NFL. We're going to talk some running back rooms and some quarterback rooms too as well, and what to expect this upcoming year for the NFL. All right. So thank you so much for checking me out. I appreciate it. Thank you to all my subscribers. Much love. Really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful Sunday. As you can tell, I am dressed to the T with my Bill Belichick hoodie over here. So just representing, I guess, Bill Belichick. I don't know, whatever. I probably look like him, old and distinguished, of course. So, anyways, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the injury news, notes, baseball stuff. So here we go. All right, first thing we're going to talk about is the MLB injury news and notes. Unfortunately, this weekend we've had some stuff going on. JT Realmuto is on the disabled list, so is Pete Alonso. With the corresponding move, the Mets have asked J.D. Davis to play some first base down in AAA, so he did play some first base last night. The New York Mets right now have a lot of guys on the disabled list, so right now they're kind of hurting, so they're going to ask guys to go in different positions. Right now, their godsend is Jonathan Villar. He is playing every position for them, and he is making up a lot of ground for all those different injuries. Next note on the New York Mets, Jacob deGrom had a rehab start, went great in their low A system, had 8 Ks and 9 hitters, and he is scheduled to make his next start on Tuesday for the New York Mets, which, again, great news for the Mets. On the trading block is Delino DeShields for the Texas Rangers. He was expected to be their starting center fielder this year, but there's some guy who is slightly dominating right now, which we'll get into later, who is taking over the center field role for the Texas Rangers. Also, too, Aaron Hicks right now for the New York Yankees, center fielder, might have possibly wrist-ending surgery. It's kind of fitting to a guy who's never on the field for more than 30 games in a full season. His career continues to be plagued by injuries. Next guy we're going to talk about is the guy who is absolutely amazing, Ronald Acuna Jr. If you ever have a chance to see this guy play live, he is going to be worth every cent. The dude does everything so good. He's so young. He's such an amazing talent. The Braves are playing the Pirates this weekend, and if you haven't seen any of the results or seen any of the scoreboard, it's basically telling you the Pirates are terrible. So the Braves have absolutely crushed them. They won 20-1 the other night. If you're a Pirates fan, you're probably, putting a nice paper bag over your head right now, and then putting the year 2050 on top, because that might be the next year you might be able to compete and be competitive with management, and how that the Pittsburgh Pirate organization literally has no philosophy, no idea. They just trade all their talent away for basically chicken bones and scraps. So it's absolutely atrocious. Next guy we're going to talk about is Carlos Rondon, starting pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. He's having a renaissance year, if you want to say it that way. The dude has always had talent. He was a top 5 pick coming out of college. His biggest issue was the injury bug. This year, he just had Tommy John. I know a couple of years ago, he's coming back from it. This year, he's having like a beyond what anybody expected this year. He is by far, if you had him in fantasy baseball this year, if you got him on your roster, on your staff, he's been the best pickup on that side of the pitching spectrum for fantasy baseball. Also, too, for the Chicago White Sox, this completes their staff. They got Lance Lynn over the offseason. They have Lucas Giolito, and now you got a guy like Carlos Rodon throwing. I mean, they're so stacked, and then Dallas Keuchel too as well. So their 4 top starters are absolutely amazing. And also, that's not including Dylan Cease, who's their 5th guy. So top to bottom, 1 through 5, the White Sox might have the most talented pitching staff, starting 5 in all of baseball. So, and that's a big statement to say, because there are some staffs who have immense talent, like the Dodgers, the Indians, like they used to. So we'll see what happens on that. So you can put the Padres up there too for teams who have a talented, very, very talented top 5 starting staffs on there. So definitely put those guys in there. The White Sox are here to stay. They're going to be there for a very long time. So they're going to be a team that's going to be hard to deal with this year, just because they're so deep with their pitching depth. They're going to have a very nice run this year. Next guy we're going to talk about is Adolis Garcia, center fielder, Texas Rangers. This is the reason why Delino DeShields is on the trading block. That and plus Delino DeShields sucks. He's not a very good baseball player at the major league level. He's a very good minor league baseball player. The Rangers first got him in a Rule 5 draft pick from the Houston Astros, traded him away for Corey Kluber. This offseason, Delino DeShields signed back with the Rangers, and now they're trying to trade him again. So all in all, that is a very crazy and weird story for Delino DeShields, but that's the way the baseball circle is. It's a business. At the end of the day, you're doing what's best for your franchise, what's best for your team. So he is officially on the block. The Rangers are talking to different teams about trading him. Maybe one guy one team he might go to is a team they've already made a previous trade for this year with the New York Yankees. They also already traded Rudnick Odor to the Yankees in an earlier transaction swap. So we'll see if that is something that happens again. So we'll see. We'll just kind of wait and find out. And also another team that might be in the market for him is the White Sox, as they've lost a lot of outfield talent this year too as well, which we discussed about on the earlier videos. All right, so now I'm going to go to a segment called Real or Fake. What this is going to do is basically going to say, are these starts real or are these starts fake, or what do you expect for the rest of the season? First guy we're talking about is Chris Bryant, KB17. He is now healthy, playing with the Chicago Cubs again at his full potential with Rizzo, Baez, Contreras himself, and Ian Happ. You got to put in there. You got to put him in there too as well. They have a very nice stacked lineup. KB's in the middle of it. He is having an MVP type of season. There's no doubt about it. He is playing up to his potential. He is now healthy again, which makes a huge difference for him. He's playing mostly center field or third base for the Cubs, so having that multi-position utility guy is great if you're a fantasy baseball guy or in real life too. For this purpose, real or fake, this is for fantasy baseball. As long as he stays healthy, real. Period. The dude can do it all. We just forgot how good he was because he's been injured for so many different years, or he's had some kind of lingering elements or lingering injuries. But hey, if you got him, keep him. You know, I traded him away this year, not thinking very highly of him, thinking that he was getting injured. Is it a mistake on my part? As of right now, absolutely. I messed up on that one. But hey, that's the way it is. It's all about forward thinking and trying to figure out what works best for your team. So KB17, if you got him, keep him. I kept saying in my previous ones, trade him because his value was so high. Again, I was wrong. So, I mean, when I'm wrong, I will be the first one to admit it. So keep him, let him keep playing him. Don't trade him. Hold on to him. He's having a great season. And as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be on this trajectory. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially with all those run producers and guys who can get in that lineup. The Cubs have a very nice deep lineup, and he's right there in it. Next guy we're going to talk about is Francisco Lindor. Real or fake? Fake, absolutely. Francisco Lindor, he's had a really rough stretch. I think there's a lot of pressure on him with the new contract, the new team. Everybody getting injured in the New York Mets, like we were saying earlier. So right now, you know, the weight of the world is on his shoulders. You know, I was watching some stuff on MLB Network, which is one of my favorite spots to watch when I'm have a little downtime. They're talking about how his legs are separate from his hips right now. How his legs separate from his shoulders right now. How he's not feeling the ball. How his stance is a little off. How he's kind of trying to do too much right now instead of just letting the game come to him. He's trying to get to the game, which happens. It's if you've played baseball or if you understand any of the mechanics or anything, hitting is just more than just hitting. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of details, a lot of things you got to work on constantly to be at the top level, and that's what these guys do day in and day out. So he'll get there. This is fake. It's a prolonged slump for him. He's probably just as frustrated as his owners right now. Hold on to him. Don't trade him low. Don't get pennies on the dollar for him. Just hold on. Ride it out. He will be fine. You know, the Mets are going to get J.D. Davis back here pretty soon, which should help a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be a godsend to Lindor, but it'll help having him hit behind him. So we'll see what happens from there. Next guy we're going to talk about is Danny Santana. Real or fake? I know he's only played 2 games this year so far, and this is why it's so much fun to talk about this guy, because this could go either way. He could have a 2020 year like he had 2 years ago in 2019, or he could hit a $133 like he did last year. But this one is real to me, and this is why. So he's 30 years old, still in his prime. He's going to play in the Boston Red Sox stadium, which is a very nice stadium for a hitter's park. And number 3, he plays in a very deep lineup. If he's playing center field, first base, shortstop, whatever, he's a guy who can play every day, who can play every position. So for fantasy baseball wise, if you have him, he's eligible for every position except for catcher, which is a huge bonus, because if you're looking for a guy to plug in here, play there, it's going to be a great way to get some extra value for him. He can do anything. He can do steals. He's got power. He can hit for average. He'll do it all for you. So that's very nice. He was a 2020 guy in 2019. Those guys don't grow on trees. So to me, this is real. I know he's only played 2 games. He's had 2 home runs and 1 stolen base. But at the same time, how many guys can do that? Not a whole lot in the major leagues anymore. So this guy to me is real. He's somebody who's going to have a very nice production year this year, being in the middle or in the front of the Boston Red Sox lineup, depending on what day it is and who's playing. But Danny Santana, to me, is a guy who is going to be a stud the rest of the year. I say real, and we're going to go from there. Next guy, we're going to talk about Kyle Hendricks, starting pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. He has shown signs of life lately to be better. Real or fake right now for what it is? Absolutely fake. He is pitching well below what he's supposed to be doing. He's a lot better than what he's seen. Obviously, he's not a guy who's going to throw 95, 96. He's not going to guy who's going to blow it by you. He's no Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole. I mean, he's not any of those guys who's just going to throw all day like Michael Kopech for the White Sox, who throws 101. I think he just rolls out of bed and throws 99. That guy's incredible. So, but yeah, he's not gonna be a flamethrower. He's not gonna be one of those dudes. He's gonna just spot it here and there. I know I've talked about that before, so I'm gonna make that segment really short. But Kyle Hendricks is fake. He's gonna get better this year. Look for him to just keep climbing. If you do fantasy baseball, the only downfall to Hendricks is that he's not gonna get you a ton of strikeouts. So if that's something in your league that you have that you value, he might be somebody you might want to trade for somebody that you value if you value the strikeouts. Maybe the guy like Dylan Cease for the White Sox who just had a terrible game. Maybe for Kyle Hendricks, if that's something you value and something you want to try. But for me personally, I think Kyle Hendricks is on the way back up. So we'll just see what happens. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is WTD. What to do? A couple of guys who are very head-scratching right now, just because the fact is you don't know what to do with them. Maybe you have them in your fantasy baseball league. I don't know if you play in a deep league or a shallow league or whatever you got. But the first guy we're going to talk about for WTD is Mike Trout. Mike Trout right now has a calf strain. He is out, quote, 6 to 8 weeks. I think Mike Trout will be back sooner than that. I'm thinking like 3 to 4, honestly. Mike Trout is a super human being where he never gets hurt. He never has any issues with anything whatsoever. I look for him to probably rehab like a friggin' like a champ, and he'll probably be back before that 6 to 8 week. I'm thinking 3 to 4 weeks, honestly, just because I have that much faith in him with just how he's built and how he's never injured. And I think he's just going to go hard on it. So I think he'll be back as soon as possible. So what to do with him? Hold on to him. Don't trade him. Just let it be. Let him sit on your bench. Just eat it right now. If you have an IL spot, put him on the IL. Maybe grab like a Danny Santana, like we were talking about earlier, have him replace Trout. He's not obviously going to replace all of Trout's number, but he will definitely help. Maybe if you have a guy named like Brian Reynolds on the waiver wire, he would be a nice help too as well. Somebody who you can get for probably dirt cheap. Maybe try to trade for somebody for dirt cheap. Tyler O'Neill, and he comes back too, would be a nice replacement for him. Again, he's not going to replace Trout. I'm not trying to say these guys are going to replace Trout, but they can give you pieces of what Trout can do. I just look for a guy who can steal a little bit, guy who's got a little bit of pop. I know Trout is going to he's going to light up all 5 categories, all 6 categories, depending on what you're in. I'm just trying to say, just pick and choose guys who are going to be able to help you with the absence of Mike Trout. Next guy we're going to figure out what to do with is Dinelson Lamet, starting pitcher for the San Diego Padres. This is kind of weird because the Padres are basically rehabbing him in the major leagues. And what I mean by that is not so much rehab, but they're building him back up to be a starter. He's had a very interesting / weird year where he didn't even pitch for the first, I think, 5 or 6 weeks because he had elbow issues. Had a start, came out, had elbow issues, and so now I don't know what exactly the issue was. I don't know exactly what happened with his arm, but he is getting better. So they're doing 2 innings this week, 2 innings last week, 3 innings this week. So they're giving him more innings. They're progressing his starts in a different way. So basically what they're doing is they're just basically building him up in the bullpen instead of having him do the Tampa Bay Rays thing where he comes in, throws 3 innings, 4 innings, whatever, yank him. So they're bringing him in like the 6th, 7th, 8th innings, 4 or 5 innings, whatever they have. So it's an interesting way of doing it. So I don't know if it's going to be a good way or bad way, but the report is that he is going to be a starter. They're building him back up to be a starter. So if you're an owner of him, which I am, please be very patient. Don't go in any rushing on him. If you feel like you can get a good deal for him, go ahead and do the deal. Absolutely. Don't throw him in as a throw-in though, because he is somebody who's very valuable. When he's on, he's a very valuable pitcher in every which way, shape, or form. So I know it's frustrating, but if you look at the long haul, look at the long run, don't look right now, look at this. At the end of the year, if he's a starter in San Diego, if he's going 6, 7 innings, your patience will be definitely rewarded. So just hold on to him, just relax, unless you get a really nice package, really nice deal for him, knowing that in the future that he's going to be stretched out, he's going to be a starter. Just be patient. It sucks. Trust me, it really sucks. So, all right. So now we're going to move on to the NFL news and notes. We're just going to hammer out a couple topics here that is going on. Right now, the first topic is Julio Jones going to be traded from the Atlanta Falcons to a different team. And the short answer, I hope no. I would love to see him in that offense with the Falcons and seeing what they can do this year with them adding Kyle Pitts and Mike Davis into that offense. I think it's going to be a much more explosive offense, and it's going to need to be explosive because they don't have a whole lot of defensive help. So I would love to see it personally, but the big question is, can Julio Jones stay healthy for 12 games, 13 games, 14 games? The answer is obviously no. He hasn't been able to do that for the length of his career. And now the NFL is going to 17 games, so it's really, really hard to put a number on how many games he can play this year. But say if he can play 15 games and they got all those guys in there, I think it's going to be a nice and fun offense to watch. And I think there's going to be a lot of very happy NFL people if you're a Falcons fan, and also a lot of happy fantasy NFL players too as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I would like to say that. I would like to see him stay, but I think at the end of the day, I think they do trade him just because they're in salary cap hell. They got Matt Ryan for 2 more years in the books, plain and simple. At the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and they're going to make a business decision. And unfortunately, that probably means Julio Jones will be wearing a different jersey when it's all said and done. I hate saying that, but that's probably going to happen. So, all right, so now we're going to talk about some rooms for different NFL teams. Right now, we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals and their running back room. So they lost Kenny Drake this offseason. They signed him to a 1-year deal last year. He obviously did not perform to what the Arizona Cardinals were hoping for. So the room belongs to Chase Edmonds. The Arizona Cardinals got AJ Green this offseason. They got Nuke as a receiver, so they got some very nice receivers, got another guy in the draft. And they're going to have Chase Edmonds. So Chase Edmonds for the running back room for the Arizona Cardinals, I think will be very nice. I don't know if he's going to be the full-time back there. That's hard to say because he's never had that assignment before. He's never had that gig before. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He is somebody I would take a risk on for the fantasy if he's like in the 6th, 7th round, just because like you have nothing really to lose. Because when he hits, he can hit. I mean, he's had a couple of good games where you're like, wow, he had 34 points, I believe, one time too, and well. So I mean, he can hit. He's somebody who could be very valuable. He's going to be the running back 1 for Arizona. So if you can get him in the later rounds, definitely grab him. But if you're looking to grab him in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, I'd have a tough time doing that. But if he drops to like the 6th, 7th round, absolutely grab him. He might be somebody who might get you to that top tier sooner than later if he's a full-time running back and he can stay healthy, of course. Next room we're going to talk about is we're going to switch actually over to the team that Kenyon Drake signed, which is the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders have running backs right now, Josh Jacobs. They got him in the 1st round 3 years ago overall, and Kenyon Drake too, who they signed this offseason from the Arizona Cardinals. This running back room is a little bit different. Josh Jacobs has been the lead back for the Las Vegas Raiders for many, many years, which has been 2 now, on his 3rd. Now having Kenny Drake, I don't think that's the worst idea. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world just because of the fact that Josh Jacobs hasn't been completely healthy for a 16-game season. And now they're going to have a 17-game season, so I think it's going to be great having some reps, some splits go to Kenyon Drake. Now, if you're looking at a fantasy draft, from that perspective, if I have any part of the Las Vegas Raiders running back, I wouldn't draft Josh Jacobs earlier than a 3rd round pick, just because of the fact that if he is going to be splitting some handoffs this year with Kenyon Drake, their offensive line is now downgraded a little bit. They're not nearly as good as it used to be. So that would be a major concern for me too as well. They play in a very tough division where the Broncos commit points on you, the Chargers and the Chiefs. All those teams can score points real fast. So if that does happen, then it's going to put the Las Vegas Raiders at a huge disadvantage for the fact that they're going to have to rely on Carr to pass the ball a lot. But that might be an uptick for Darren Waller. So that might be something that you might want to look at. It might be very, very nice for you. So with that being said, I would be very cautious on both those guys. If I can get Kenyon Drake in the 11th or 12th round as a backup running back to Josh Jacobs, just as protection, if I do draft Jacobs like 3rd, 4th round, just to be on the safe side, something I would do. Other than that, I wouldn't touch him. So if somebody in my league takes Josh Jacobs in the 2nd round as a running back, I will gladly tip my hat to him and say, good luck, because you are not getting 2nd round value for him. So, and the last one we're going to talk about is the QB room between Mac Jones and Cam Newton. Now, there's a lot of things going on right now. So, the Tampa Bay Bucks travel to the New England Patriots week 4. I know that's big. I know there's going to be a hype train on that probably for when the season starts till that game is played. For the full month, it's probably going to be hype on all that because Tom Brady's going back to Foxborough, his relationship with Bill Belichick. Who's going to be the quarterback? Is it going to be the future, or is it going to be the present? Yada, yada, yada. All right, so plain and simple, Mac Jones will probably be starting the NFL by week 6. I'm just gonna guess that just because of the fact that the Patriots got all these weapons. They're expecting Cam Newton to be better. And I don't know if Cam Newton can be better personally, and it's nothing against the guy or his talent. His body's taken so much punishment over the years as a running back, as a quarterback. I just don't know if his body can hold up for a full year. And again, I keep harping on the 17 games. It's so much different than 16 games. You got one more game of all this abuse, all the hitting. It's just going to be a longer season. These guys are going to have to, slow it down a little bit, maybe practice a little less or practice, with less hitting or whatever. I know there's rules and regulations for all that stuff, but I have a hard time seeing Cam Newton finishing out the year as the Patriots quarterback. Mac Jones has a skill set that Bill Belichick likes a lot. He's a very accurate passer, so we'll see what happens with all that, especially with all the new weapons they got. I know the Patriots are trying to become a run-first team with Damian Harris and Cam Newton, so that might work really well. But we'll see if Cam can make a pass. If he can make passes and have a good completion percentage, I think it'll be fine. But if he doesn't, that's going to be really tough. And I think it'll force the hand of Bill Belichick to go to the rookie, Mr. Mac. But that's just what I think. So I'd say by week 6, week 7, Mac Jones will be in. He'll be the full-time starting quarterback for the Patriots. And again, like I said this from the very beginning, the rookie of the year is going to be Justin Fields for the Chicago Bears. He landed in the most perfect situation with the most perfect coach other than Trey Lance and the Niners. I think this is just going to be a match made in heaven. Watch Matt Nagy and Justin Fields just take the Chicago Bears to a whole new level. So it's going to be so much fun to watch. So he will make his rookie mistakes, of course. It's the NFL. It's at a different speed. It's a whole different universe out there. But at the end of the day, you got a quarterback who can run the ball, who can throw the ball, who can throw the ball deep. I just think the Bears are going to be in for a treat this year. And it's an easy sell to their fans to sell one of the best quarterbacks, the second-rated quarterback in this year's draft too as well. So anyways, I'm Ty Guy, the sports guy. Hope y'all enjoyed everything. That's my episode for Sunday here. I hope y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch me. I appreciate it. Please smash that like button. Smash. So like, subscribe, share, add me. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all got some good information from here. Hopefully this helped you in some kind of way, shape, or form. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I am Ty Guy, the sports guy, and I'm out. Take care, everybody. Bye.